Hello friends, it's Greg here again on the Blue Feather Ephemera channel. I have an eBay store by the same name where I sell vintage magazine print advertising. Now today we're going to take a little bit closer look at two advertisements that you've seen before in What Sold videos, but we've got interesting feedback to talk about on these and I want to share that with you. Let's get started. First of all, we've got this nice ad from 1960, and we looked at it back during the month of September. That's when I sold it, and it came from a Louisville Courier-Journal Sunday edition insert. It was a magazine formatted Sunday supplement, and this one happened to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Civil War. We've talked about that magazine a lot over the past couple of years because it's yielded some fantastic advertising. But in this ad, the company advertising is called Louisville Textiles, and it shows a picture of the building at the bottom of the ad. We're going to take a closer look at that. If you choose to, you can read a lot more about this than what I'm going to say here in the video. I'm going to concurrently post under the community tab a little bit of the information that I gathered about this building and while we're talking about it. But it was built in 1889. It did operate as a cotton mill, and then they diversified later on. I believe it was about 1919, and as a textile factory, it stopped producing in 1967. It operated as it housed other businesses after 1967 up through 2015. We'll talk about that. What I want you to notice in this picture, first of all, is the style of the building. It's considered a fine example of Victorian Era industrial architecture. The street address down at the bottom says 1318 McHenry Street, Louisville, Kentucky. We'll come back to that in a minute. And also notice that big, tall smokestack of a chimney in the square shape that you see there. You'll be seeing that again shortly. So the question is, after it ceased operation in 1967 and then housed other businesses, what happened in 2015? Well, I guess on the intro slide, old Blue Feather kind of let the cat out of the bag because you might have guessed they've turned this building into residential units. There's according to online estimates, there's somewhere between 184 and 189 residential units inside that factory now that houses anywhere from about 250 to 400 people. Now this is where it gets pretty darn cool. What you're looking at on the screen is the building as it exists today. In 2016, after that renovation, it reopened as Germantown Mill Lofts, and this is the building. You can see that big, tall, square smokestack now has on it the sign for Germantown Mill Lofts, and I'm on their website right now. Now, they have a whole photo gallery, but we're not going to go through them all. You can explore that if you choose to, but I want you to look at this next picture. This is the inside. This is one of the 3-story areas, and I like the fact that down on the bottom of the screen, you see here huge rolls of that cotton warp cloth that they produce there. So they're paying homage to the history of the building there. And notice that you have a lower floor there, and I guess you're on the second floor and kind of looking up at the third floor in the picture. Now, they've outfitted it with all the amenities. It's a real nice place, and like I said, you can explore that a little bit more if you choose to. I'm going to go right now to the Contact Us page because I want you to see one more thing here. It'll take just a moment to get there. Apparently, there it is. Okay, now look at the address. They're not going by the address of 1318 McHenry Street. They're going by 946 Goss Avenue. That's a different facing street on the other side of the property. But we're going to talk about 1318 McHenry Street real quick. When you Google specifically the address 1318 McHenry Street, this is what comes up. It's a business called Hop Atomica, and as you can see in blue there on the screen, it says Louisville's only brewery, restaurant, and distillery, all located on that property. Well, what else do you see in this picture? You see that big square smokestack that's in the background, and it's right there on the property of Louisville Textiles and what is now Germantown Mill Lofts. So they've got this business there as well to cater to all of the luxury apartment dwellers that are now at that address. So I think that's pretty cool. Now we're going to switch back to the ad briefly, and I'm going to tell you specifically why I chose to feature this in what I call featured feedback. You're probably already a step ahead of me because you know that this kind of video is specifically about feedback. That's why I chose to feature this. It's because of feedback I got from the customer. I'm going to put the whole statement on screen, but in a nutshell, the last couple of lines say, I already framed this and hung it. My apartment is on the 3rd floor of that building, so I really appreciate the history. Thanks. That's what I love about this job is so much of this nostalgia that we deal with is about history. And anytime you can help a person strengthen their bonds to their family or their place in a community or a certain time, when a person has that tie to a history, they just feel more grounded, and I think they really appreciate that, and I like being a part of that. That's why I love selling. And so that kind of wraps up our discussion of that topic. Make sure that you check out the community tab for those links that I'll be dropping. Now let's talk about the second ad. Now the second item we have to look at is this ad from a company called Baldwin Laboratories. They made this product called DWIN, and it was an insecticide for use in the home. And we looked at this ad sale last month. I sold it for $14.77. It ran in 1940. Now, the interesting thing about this, I chose this ad for this video not because of feedback I received from the buyer that told me something. However, the buyer's feedback did lead me back to their profile, and when I looked at the profile, this is what I found. Now, I'm not sharing the username here because I didn't get permission to do that, but in the about portion of their profile, it says we collect Meadville, Pennsylvania and Saegertown, Pennsylvania local items. We share a collection at this URL. And when we follow that, we see a pretty nice website. This is what it looks like when you get there. And as you can see, they've got several different categories, probably about 24 different categories of items. And it looks like that a good bunch of it is ephemera of one type or another. It mentions newspapers and postcards, stereo views, more local postcards, newspapers, and all of that kind of stuff. But what caught my interest down here, because the item I sold was Baldwin Laboratories in Saegertown, I looked at Saegertown items, and when you click on that, you're able to just scroll down the page, and that's what you see here. Now, I'm going to go pretty far down to show you the kind of thing that I think this item is going to fit into the collection. Right there's an ad here for DWIN insecticide, and it's featured prominently. You see the same ad down here, but they've got a little collection of this DWIN type insecticide stuff. And when you bring that up on the screen, you can see that they've got a couple of containers. They've got some sprayers, and this is a powder sprayer, and I used these when I was young to spray an insecticide around our livestock. But a few different things here, and that includes the DWIN advertising that you see. So I think that's pretty cool. As I close out, I just want to leave you with an opinion. I feel like that place names, and especially the names of people and old advertisements are just as important as the names of products and descriptions of the ad. That way you help buyers who are interested in the history find what they're looking for. I also want to encourage you to go to the community tab and check out the links for these websites that kind of tie into both of these featured feedback items. Well, that's all for this video. I appreciate you watching to the end. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.